Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Williams channel. Let's do a wrist check. I've chosen to wear the Air King today, the 116900, for this video because I'm collaborating with a different watch channel, a channel in Italy, Watch InTime, run by Giovanni. He's a friend of mine. He's a member of my exclusive Patreon group, and he also owns this quirky, ugly Air King. And I want to talk about a topic that I think a lot of us can relate to, and that is staying power of a watch. Like, the watch might not be the most highly regarded piece. It might not have the best value retention or value for money or specifications, but that aside, you just identify with it. You connect with that watch. You love it, regardless of what anybody thinks of the watch. It has that staying power, that special factor, and you're proud to have it in your rotation, regardless of its price point. We're going to talk about a watch of that caliber today. It is the Tudor North Flag. I'm a fan of it, but this is Giovanni's staying power watch. And so I've asked him to film his watch and talk about why he loves it so much, why it has staying power in his collection, and why he connects with it. And throughout his video here, I'm going to kind of pause it, jump in, share my thoughts, and I hope you guys enjoy this unique and new format as I collaborate with the different watch channel across the Atlantic Ocean from me here in Utah. So without further ado, I'll give the floor to Giovanni.
Hello, Bruce, and thank you again for this opportunity. This is Giovanni from Italy, from Watch InTime, and today we are going to discuss a little bit about what I think about watch collection, and particularly the type of feeling that a model or a watch can give to you, and the pleasures that it can bring. I am a watch enthusiast. I have been collecting, at least for the last almost 10-year watches, obviously of different levels. I agree with you. Sometimes we tend to change watches, to buy and sell. It's kind of a game. At the same time, there are watches that are part of our collection and will never move from our collection. And this is one of them. In my particular case, when I started collecting watches, I started collecting obviously brands that I could buy. So I had some Seikos, I had some Tissot, I had a lot of brands that were accessible at the time with what I was earning. Going on with life, obviously, I could permit myself other type of watches. 3 years ago, this was in 2017, I changed jobs. I had this successes around my job and opportunities, and with the money that was well earned, and it was part of my reward of the work that I have done, I decided to buy my first Tudor.
So first off, Giovanni, I've got to say, I like the book that I noticed in the background here of your video. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a nerd. I'm not afraid to admit it. So that's kind of cool. I like seeing that. But definitely, I relate to your journey because I've had a similar journey, and I think a lot of the viewers here watching this video can also relate. I think part of the reason why a watch has staying power is the fact that you've had a journey before you experienced that watch. So for myself, I also started with more affordable watches. I didn't start off with a luxury watch that, cost $3,000 or $4,000. I started with Seikos, I started with Hamiltons, I started with Tissots, with micro brands. And I think the majority of us watch fans have taken a similar journey as me and as Giovanni, and that's one of the reasons why once we finally find that watch that we just connect with, that we identify with, that speaks to us, it's because we've had that journey before. And when that watch is at the luxury price point level and you've spent so much time in the more affordable segments, and guys, I'm not trying to hate on affordables. I love affordables. I had a history actually before affordable watches where I was in fashion watches. I had Invictas and Michael Kors and Diesel and quite a few ridiculous watches. I'm not afraid to admit it, but really part of identifying with the watch is the journey that you've had. And when that watch is the luxury price point, when you finally get there, you have that satisfaction, that excitement of finally arriving at the goal that you've had that maybe you've taken years to get to, and that's really a fun thing. Buying a luxury watch for a lot of guys is a big deal. They've never done it before, and that's a silly, stupid amount of money to spend on something that basically just tells you the time is a luxury, is a piece of men's jewelry, but the journey is what's fun. And I'm looking forward to where I go in the future, and where Giovanni goes in the future, and where you guys go in the future. So let's get back to the video here.
And for me, it was an important period in my life. I was changing a dream and changing new objectives. And it was a success, and I was quite happy with what I was doing and how I was changing things. So to celebrate, I decided to buy a Tudor, and I went to the shop. So I went to start looking for the Tudors. At the time, I didn't have the knowledge, and I accept this, that I have today on watches. And I think I'm also lucky about that. Because when I went to the store to see Tudors and to buy a Tudor, I didn't have any preconceptions. I was not thinking at the time, this is the model that I might be selling in 10 years, or this is the model that will make the biggest value. I was just thinking and feeling and perceiving what the watches were telling me and that I was trying and wearing. And I'm glad that I did that. I didn't have any misconception that brought me even to think, okay, I want to buy a Rolex because it's a better investment. No.
Now, I believe that this is an element of watch collecting that some of us need to remember again. Some of us that are more seasoned collectors, we've been in the hobby for a while, and we get so logical. And I'm guilty of this, where I think, well, you know what? This is a smarter purchase. This is a better value. This is a better watch. This one will appreciate more. This one will give me more respect within the watch community. We need to forget about that. But I guess if that's your thing, go ahead and go for it. But, we need to take our mindset back to when we were, I guess you could say, newer in the hobby, where when we saw something, it doesn't matter how popular another model is, like the Black Bay or the Pelagos. We love the North Flag. And that type of childlike love, I guess you could say, is something that we need to rediscover within ourselves, because it makes the hobby more enjoyable and more personable, on your own level. You're not focused on what somebody else thinks of what you do with your own money and your own wrist. You're all about the enjoyment and your own collection. And I think more of us need to remember that.
And I could have at the time. Actually, today I think I was silly that I didn't bought a Rolex from one side, because the prices were better probably, and you would have had. But that's the wrong thinking about it. Watches and collecting watches is not about the price of the watch or the investment that you're doing. It's about the pleasure of having a piece in your wrist, liking it, adoring it, using it. It's what it gives you back. That's the best investment that you can do on a watch. It's the feelings and the moments that it will leave with you. So I decided, at the time I saw the Black Bay. People usually recognize Tudor for the Black Bay. And I agree, it's a nice watch. I also have a Black Bay, okay? I bought a Black Bay after. But at the time, I fell in love with this Tudor North Flag. So how many people know about this? Very little people. At the moment, this is one of the lowest recognized watches in the world of Tudor. No, it's like the Air King that I also have from Rolex. And I agree with you, Bruce. It's probably one of the ugliest but more lovable watches that are out there. And this is the same. Tudor produced this design, produced this watch in order to commemorate the launch of its first in-house movement. Guys, I think this is quite important.
Exactly right. And that's why I think the North Flag will become a collectible one day. Right now it's pretty readily available at retail. I mean, there's not a lot on the secondary market. It's not a very popular watch. But there will be a day when we kick ourselves that we didn't buy it at retail price, because it is a collectible and it will shoot up in value. Again, my opinion, guys, but this thing has a lot of firsts. It's very bold. You look at this and you see an integrated bracelet and case design with use of brushed ceramics. There's a power reserve indicator. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time in the Rolex or Tudor family that there is an exhibition caseback on a dedicated sport model that's not a dress piece. They've never done that before. And not to mention the fact that this is Tudor's first manufacture movement. And 50 years from now, when they have a host of respected complications, product lines, the North Flag will have been the very first. Way back in, 2015 when it was, I think it was 2015 when it was first announced. I could be wrong there, but it will become a collectible, and I think it's kind of cool that you have it, Giovanni. I'm getting a little bit of that fear of missing out. Like, I kind of want one, even though I just really respect it. I enjoy it. I probably don't connect with it on the same level that you do, but man, I do think it's a great pickup and a great addition to really anyone's watch collection.
And it's a beautiful watch. It has a blue luminova. It's made to resist. It's a solid piece of steel, integrated bracelet. It wears itself flat. It's not that thick. You can wear it with a suit, or you can wear it sporty, going trekking or going to having an adventure. And that's the feeling that I have when I wear this watch. It's going on to an adventure. And this is my travel watch. This is my favorite watch for traveling. I am very jealous of the scratches that I do on my watches and try always to protect them. But in this case, this Tudor, oh my God, I just wear it and I don't care. And I'm happy about this because I enjoy it the more without worrying. And it has had many more adventures that other watches would have had with me. One of my historic pieces that I bought that I was always in love, and when I managed to bought was, for example, the Moon Watch Speedmaster. This is probably a story I can tell you guys some other time. But the thing is that I don't wear my Speedmaster because I'm always afraid I don't want to damage the watch. And at the same time, I'm not enjoying it. This watch, it has the first in-house movement. It wears a beauty on the wrist, as you can see. This is a 19 centimeters wrist. Sorry guys, I use centimeters. and it works quite well. It's, integrated. It reminds me of the 70s watches. It also reminds me of other expedition watches, but at the same time, it's unique. It's a Tudor. It's not something else. And it's something that gives you also another pleasure that I find in watches. It's the only Tudor with an open back case. And this is beautiful, guys. Being able to see the mechanism is one of the things that I prefer on a watch. So that's pretty much it. Thank you again for following us. And thank you, Bruce, for this opportunity of sharing this watch with everyone. So see you soon. Bye-bye.
Giovanni, thank you very much. You did an excellent job. I'm impressed, right? English, I believe, is your second language, and you speak it better than I do as a native speaker. So well done. I really enjoyed hearing your perspective on the North Flag, why you purchased it, a little bit about some of the other watches in your own collection. I think this was really enjoyable. And I've got to give you respect and props for wearing your sport watch and not being held captive by your sport piece. I think some of us, we get apprehensive and a little fearful of wearing our luxury watches or our favorite watches for fear of putting some hairline wear in it, or putting a flea bite in it, or scratching the crystal, or something like that. Now, I'm not advocating to be irresponsible with your piece, do unnecessary damage and wear and tear. Obviously, nothing like that, but you wear your North Flag. It's your travel watch. You look at the watch and you see some hairline wear, you see some scratches, and you love the piece even more than if it was pristine sitting in a safe. And I've just got to give you respect for that. You wear the watch, you don't let the watch wear you, and that's something that I try to do. I'm not always successful. I do understand that you want to preserve the beauty of your watches, especially because you've spent so much money on them. But in the end, they're pieces of men's jewelry that tell us the time, and we want to be out there making great memories with our family, with our friends, wearing an awesome watch on wrist, and I can definitely see you do that with the Tudor North Flag. So thank you, Giovanni, for collaborating with me. Thank you for being a member of my Patreon group. I've really enjoyed this new format, and maybe we can do it again in the future. So guys, check out Giovanni's channel if you can speak Italian. I'll also link his Italian channel. I would love for you to show him some support. And please reach out. Let me know what you think of the North Flag. And do you have a watch in your own rotation that has that special staying power that you identify with, you connect with, regardless of anyone else's opinions or perception of your favorite watch? Let's hear it in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.